Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, and ladies, welcome to episode number 56 of Collecting Profit, your weekly sports card, eBay, reselling, hobby, and whatever the hell else comes into our brains chat talk show.
That is very true.
I got my partner in crime hanging out right over there. Anthony, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Can't complain. I literally just got home from the card shop, so it's a good day. So anytime you can get out for a few hours and unwind and relax at a card shop, it's always a pleasant day. Big John's in the house. Matty
Big
Ice,
John,
good to see you guys.
Matty
What is
Ice,
up?
Big John. Hey, so if you Rocky,
What's up, Rocky?
if you guys have not entered the giveaway, the pinned comment up above, or if you scroll up a little bit, go to that one. Make sure you like that video. Make sure you subscribe to Anthony and just put any kind of comment. Put, hey, Anthony is one handsome son of a gun as a comment. And you can win that card.
That's one of the truest comments you could probably put in there. But yeah, definitely. It could be anything, but we definitely appreciate you guys. Again, it's an Iron Man suspended animation. It's a graded 10. It's not by PSA, so PSA 10s of this normally go for like $200 range or whatnot. But just to be subscriber of the channel, liking and leaving any comment on last week's episode will enter you to win this Iron Man, which you can't really see real well because of my green screen right now. But I wonder if I have a picture of this I could share. Hold on.
Alan, what's up, buddy? Lockin, what's up, buddy? So I got some other news, Anthony. Got some other big news for the show.
Let's hear it.
So after 55 episodes, starting episode number 56, we are also, for the first time, live tonight on the X.
Nice.
We are live on Twitter at the exact same time. So I don't know if we're going to see Twitter comments. What's up,
Lockin's
Johnny?
In the house. Hey, John.
Lockin's in the house. Johnny's in the house. I don't know if we'll see the comments, but we're supposed to be live on Twitter right now on Huddle Card. So any of you Twitter people out there, if you're just checking that out for the first time, I don't know if you see the comments, but come to the YouTube and then go to that pinned comment, like, comment, subscribe to Anthony's channel, and you can win a pretty cool card.
Yes, you can.
So, bam. We expanding. We are expanding the enterprise.
That we are. So yeah, for whatever reason, I don't have my next gem rocking and rolling on my thing. Let me see if I can pull up my I think I have it on Veriswap. Show a picture of what it is since my green screen's not working for us tonight.
It's a really nice looking card. So again, don't forget, go to that one, like, comment, subscribe. While Anthony's trying to do that, Kenneth, how are you, buddy? How's it going? So let's get some other stuff out of the way. Anthony, next week, you want to make the announcement of what's going on next week, what we have happening?
Sure. Yeah, so next week, guys, we're going to be on my channel, and we're going to be moving the show to Tuesday because I'll be traveling to California on Wednesday, like during showtime. So will be Tuesday next week, and we actually have two guests next week. We have Mark and Bryce coming back from the Pittsburgh Card Show. We've had those guys on two other times, and they're always a great time, super knowledgeable. But they have this is the first time they're going to a 2-day show for the Pittsburgh Card Show. So a lot of news is going to break. Huge giveaways too. Like there's going to be over $10,000 in giveaways per day. So
wow,
if you're able to make it to the Pittsburgh card show, like there's going to be tons of value given away at these 2-day shows. So um, definitely make sure you guys come out next week. You'll hear all of it straight from the horse's mouth. We have both promoters, Mark and Bryce, here with us. So should be a good time. Those guys
Great
put on, in my
supporters.
opinion.
Yeah,
What's that?
great supporters. So we had
Yep.
I didn't realize that there was a fourth Uso brother. We had Manny Us show up. We the ones.
What's up, man?
That was from X.
Nice. That's awesome.
We give Beast
Oh, I
away at
see
the
the little logo
Pittsburgh
now.
Sports Card Show.
Nice.
I'm sure you can.
Maybe.
Mark is a deal man. Mark will make any kind of deal he needs to. Yeah, so Dami, what's happening, buddy? I hope I don't think I missed anybody, but thank you all for being here. We are working on a couple other guests going on. You guys have seen it. The from the Bowmans, the Tom Brady, the 101 autograph that sold. We're going to talk about it a little bit more, but I'm working on getting triple diamond. Those are the guys who pulled that card. Working on hopefully getting them on the
That'll be
show.
awesome.
So for the giveaway, this is what we are looking at.
This is the Iron Man suspended animation. It's acetate, both sides of Iron Man. Really cool card. It's a graded 10. So again, it's not PSA. It could be a good option if you guys are PSA guys or Beckett guys or SGC guys. Could be a good crossover candidate, or it could just be something you hold on in your PC. This is going to be given away at some point during the show. So if you haven't commented on the pinned comment, make sure you do so. If you do end up being the person that's selected for this Iron Man card and for whatever reason you don't want it, if you let me know on Instagram, we can trade in the Iron Man for like $40 eBay store credit or something like that, just to give you guys something that you do collect, if that makes sense. But again, that's the giveaway. We'll be doing that a little bit later on this evening. And yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So again, we got that show, we got everything going on. Coming up this month here in Atlanta, we later on in the month, we have the Culture Collision card show that I'm going to go to. It's a big card show at here. Anthony and I and Irene and Marty and Paul, Gate City, we met up there last year.
It was awesome.
It's a great show and everything. So I'm hoping to go there and talk to some more people and try and get some more people to come on to the show and everything. So trying to do good by you guys. So some stuff has happened in the hobby. Some things, so I mentioned Triple Diamond. I mentioned the 1/1 Brady. Had it golden, had it on auction. I think they did like a 30-day auction. And and this is how you know that we are a little bit, crazy in the hobby. When I've said it, Anthony said it, and I've seen a bunch of other people make comments about it, is that card sold at auction for $158,000 and
That's wild.
some change. And here we're going, man, I thought it would have went for more.
Yeah.
Like if I had a card that was worth 158 grand in my collection, I'd be like, oh damn, man, that sucks having that card, right? It's like
my entire collection isn't even worth that one card. But yeah, I mean, like that's the crazy part, is this was a letdown. Being as the card that's numbered 12 of 50 has a bounty on it for 500,000. So
yeah,
I would imagine whoever had the 1/1 was at least hoping for somewhere in that ballpark. Now, granted, this is a come up, because I'm pretty sure they paid like $200 some for the break spot. So
They paid $229 for the brake spot.
yeah, so they definitely had a major come up on that. But um, yeah, I mean, I would imagine like they probably thought they were going to get a good bit more than that at auction.
You would have to think. You
The,
would
the,
have to think. Now you wonder if there were any offers made through TDS, to the buyer, beforehand, that may have said, "Hey, I'll give you X, whatever it may be," so on and so forth. So,
what I'd like to know is the person who pulled the card, were they happy with that price? You know what I mean? Like I said, it's a major come up, but like obviously they were probably expecting more. Like, but here's the thing: like, not even his rookie card that's autographed is worth that much money
I know.
in a New England Patriots uniform. Like, that's like what Tom Brady's actually known for. Like, let's be honest. Like, does anybody who's actually not a Montreal Expos fan actually give a crap about Tom Brady and the Montreal Expos?
I mean, unless you're a Brady super fan.
Yeah,
I I
that's
mean
like
I I mean, I
literally.
re I mean, I really, that's the only person I could think of, right? Because you have to be a Montreal Expos fan or a Tom Brady super fan, because if you're just a baseball fan, why does that card do anything for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a guy that is known for something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then like on top of it, like what I'd really like to know is, did the card end at auction first, or did the announcement break first that the card's photoshopped? Like the actual image that you're buying of Tom Brady as a Montreal Expo is actually some other dude. It's not even Tom Brady. It's like literally somebody with Tom's face like dropped on top of it. So does that
That's
devalue it even more? Like if it goes for auction again, does it come up at 100,000 now? Or that, you know what I mean? Like in your eyes, like if you're buying this card because it's like this major chase, and then you find out that it's like not even the actual picture of Tom Brady, it's literally another dude with Brady's face over top of it. Now, I
yeah.
probably would rather have that than what Panini gave us with Wembenyama, where they literally just dropped the picture of him in front of a curtain and it looks like absolute dog crap. Like, like at least they put effort into like making it look real. Like I had no idea until like I saw Dan the Cardman drop a video on it. You know what I mean? Like, um, but yeah, I mean, like to you guys that would actually spend a significant amount of money on a card, like in the tune of six figures, knowing that the card's photoshopped, does that change things for you? Like, would that devalue the card to you? That's
Well,
what I'd
here's the
like
thing
to
that gets me, and Big John, uh, makes a good point there.
know. Mhm.
Like, I guess my question is this: if, like, if that truly is, if that was him, honestly, let's forget the Photoshop part. Let's say that is Tom Brady.
Yeah.
When would he have gone at that point in time when he's drafted? When would he have gone to Expos camp?
I don't know. That's a good question. I would
You know what I mean?
imagine at some point. I I would imagine at some point, like he had to have at least tried out for them or something. There would have to be some kind of like, because the way I look at it, like I have pictures of myself in like Pee Wee football uniforms that like I've kept. Like if I would have been like even like drafted by a team and I had any form of like ability to capture like an image of me in that uniform, like you think Tom would have access to that? At least Tom would have access to that, or like his mom or somebody would have access to like a real picture of him in a Expos uniform.
But and here's the other thing. We all should have realized something. If he's a rookie, ain't no way in hell he's getting number 12.
True.
I just thought, and that was, I just had that epiphany came as you were, talking.
Yeah.
How the hell would he have had number 12?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know of any rookie who starts off like you look at all, you look at all the different rookies. If you look at the guys today, like I can look at you look at the New York Mets, if you look at Pete Alonso, you look at some of his, Bowman cards from when he was in the minor leagues. He wasn't number 20. You look
Yep.
at Francisco Alvarez. He wasn't number, what is he, number 4, I think now? I can't remember, but he was 50 something, so, you know. So from that standpoint, I can't believe, I mean, a lot of people probably should have looked at that and said, "Hey, something's not copacetic, with this."
Yeah. I
Look at that. We
completely
find
agree.
out. We found out the WNBA's only fan. It's Dami. He follows Diamond, the Shields, WNBA. So we,
Nice.
we know who the super fan of the WNBA is. Way to go, Dami.
Somebody's buying them packs from Walmart. It's not me.
There you go. I have gone ahead and bought a box of each one and have it put away. Why? I don't know.
Because you have a sickness.
WNBA is awesome. You and 7 other people agree.
You know, though, I don't dispute that it's awesome. Like with the new basketball rule I've been doing. I've been watching a ton of girls basketball, and it's every bit as good as like the guys. Sometimes it's even better. I don't watch any WNBA though, just like full transparency. But if you're a pure fan of the sport, it can be just as good. I
It
think if
can.
you're in it just a watch,
It can.
or if you're a dirty old pervert. Not saying the Dom is, but I, personally, it's a lot better to look at a woman than it is a dude. You know what I mean? So I could see that appeal too. Like I sell a lot of I was just telling my girlfriend this, a lot of women's wrestling cards. Um, it's not necessarily that the women are better athletes than the men. It's just that there's some crusty old middle-aged dude going, "Oh, Carmella." You know what I mean? Like, and because of that, I'm selling a crap load of base cards. You know what I mean? Like it could be like literally any woman's wrestler. Like I was just telling my girlfriend, like, hey, I sold a card of this
Maybe.
girl, this girl, this girl. She's like, who? I'm like, exactly. Like, these
Yeah.
are like women who had a cup of tea in NXT. And like, if anything, like they might be doing OnlyFans now. And that's like their main source of income. But there's still a dirty old pervert out there that will collect their cards.
Oh
So,
yeah. No, I
yeah.
mean, Maddie, you're not
She
you're
says,
not
says the
wrong.
guy wearing a women's wrestling t shirt. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. I
speak
mean,
from experience.
exactly. You're not wrong, Matt. I mean, they are affordable. They are good. They're. I mean, look, it's like with anything. You should expect certain things. You should not expect the action and everything that you would see at a men's game versus that one. And there's nothing wrong with that. Tommy is a
I,
fan of all sports. He does like watching the women's rugby.
I just popped for Alan's comment. He
Dom
goes,
does
Dom just
love to
loves to
see
see
their
their socks.
stocks. So, but I think what it is this. I think some people will look at WNBA because, like, I can look at it so I believe that I can do on a basketball court. Not saying I can do it as good, but you know, layups, jump shots. So it's more, like I can go ahead and, I can relate a little more to them because there's not many high flyers, people that are dribbling, stopping at the free throw line, and then going up and slamming the ball down, right? So I can never do that. But, but I should be able to at least stand behind a 3-point line and throw to, give it a fair attempt.
True. I totally agree, Big John.
Yes, it does.
I move women like crappy women's wrestlers like probably even more than I move like Dwayne the Rock Johnson, Stone Cold Steve Austin, like Hulk Hogan, even like the all time greats. Like like somebody's like, "Ooh, is that a Mackenzie Mitchell?" Sure is. Come and get it.
I don't know. Is she a senior? Because don't they have? I don't know if they can leave early. I don't know if college basketball can leave early for the WNBA. I'm not sure how that works. But she is like she's amazing. Like I mean, you know, but even her being amazing, when I look at what she doesn't jump high and slam the ball. She shoots from the outside, has some crazy moves. Again, I cannot physically do those, but in this brain, I think, hey, with a little bit of practice, anything's possible.
Hey, you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength, Michael. That's what my Bible says. So maybe Michael Jordan from the free throw line, tongue out.
Yeah,
Maybe it's in my future. Who knows? It could happen.
anything's possible. Anything is possible. Hey, don't forget, get out. If you haven't yet and you're in the chat and everything, don't forget, pinned comment, video, like, comment, subscribe, any kind of comment you want, and we can go ahead and get you in there.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I probably have one good, like, I don't know, 38-second stretch, and then I'd be done for the game. All right. Whew. Oh, sub.
Yep. I'd be the same way.
Spring training is getting close. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Looking forward to that and everything. So, yeah. So, back to the Tom Brady thing. It's going to be interesting to see. Is there going to be any fallout? What do you think? You think there's going to be any kind of fallout if more of this comes out again? I have not seen an official story. I have not seen an official thing that says yes, it is 100% fallout. But look, when you look at the two pictures to get next to each other, it's one of those things that you go, I mean, they look too much alike. Way too much alike. The way the glove is bent, the way the hands are there.
Very true, John. We definitely would be Bill Murray. But yeah, I mean, it's uncanny, like how close of the resemblance is. I don't think there's going to be any kind of fallout, just because, like I said, like I think half the hobby is of the understanding like we'd rather have it look nice than have what the Wembanyama rookie card looks like. Um, but I mean, by the same point, there probably is at least a picture of Tom Brady playing baseball or in a baseball uniform somewhere they could have picked. Now, whether that would have been grainy, crappy looking, like who knows? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I mean, transparency would have been cool, like letting us know, hey, this isn't even Tom. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's some other dude. But I would imagine they probably do this stuff more than we even know. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
they have to. I mean, you
different
think about it.
sets.
If they put Otani's card, I don't know if Otani is in Series 1. I didn't look at that checklist. But if Otani is in Series 1 and he's in an LA Dodgers uniform, I mean, and he's swinging a bat in a game, they have a game pose. There's no way that's true. So
Yeah.
any of these guys who switch teams, any of them, and any of these players that are in Series 1 that were free agents. Now, I don't know. Maybe they made the choice. Hey, we're not putting any of the free agents in Series 1. I don't, I'm not sure. Um, but we've seen that before, that it's been done that way. Because like, wait a minute, how the hell is this guy in his, this uniform? They haven't even played a game yet. So why would he be in there? So I mean, yes, they've done it, and you're 100% correct. But I think this boils down to the whole thing of is that, when you have hype around cards like this, that's why, in my opinion, unless you are that guy who is a fan and you're like, I want that card, I'm never going to sell it, it's going to stay in my collection. I think this is
Yep.
going to give more reason now to sell those cards as soon as possible rather than hold them. But here's the other thing, Anthony. What's the next one?
I don't know. I think they're just going to go more and more gimmicky. Just like the taco fractor, like that was like the stupidest thing in the world. Um, but hey, it had people buying it because they wanted to try to win all of the tacos. And the crazy thing is, I think Hitman Rips is actually the dude who got tacos. believe it or not.
And he bought
Sure.
that card. He didn't even pull that card. He paid $800. He made an offer. He paid $800 for that card, and then he got $15,000 worth of Taco Bell. You know.
Out of curiosity, though, you'd mentioned the Otani and everything like that, as far as like
Angel.
he'd be in a Dodgers uniform or whatever. Like, so that would have to be a Photoshop thing.
Yeah.
Would you rather have something like that, like where it's the actual player, but the uniform's been swapped? Or would you rather have it to where it's the actual uniform, but the actual player's been swapped, like we're seeing with the Tom Brady?
Well, I think from a standpoint of, so if Rocky is still here, Rocky's an Otani, collector. So I'm sure for the person who's an Otani collector, I don't think it matters, right? Because you're eventually going to get him in a Dodgers, uniform. So if you see it, photoshopped, I don't know, you probably aren't too upset about it. If it's a one of one refractor like the Tom,
Mm-hmm.
and it's photoshopped, then to me that's a different story, right? If it's a plain old base card, I don't think you care, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's maybe even a numbered card, but let's say it's numbered to 499, I don't think you care. If it's the one of one, you might care.
Yeah.
Rocky is I'd rather have non-Photoshop. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
you know, I agree. That's what I'm saying, for the same type of thing. Like, yeah, Juan Soto in a Yankee uniform, same type of thing. Like if it's a base card, I don't think you'd care that much. But if
Yeah.
it's something else, like they're doing that reverse image, gold foil, whatever that super short print is, and if you get the Otani in that, and that's your only shot at getting it, and he's going to be photoshopped in a Dodgers uniform, that would suck. Now, if they say, "Hey, we're not doing it for Series 1, but we are going to include him when he is in his Dodger
Yeah.
uniform in Series 2 or update, and you will have the opportunity to get the short print," completely different story.
Yep.
You know.
Completely agree.
They do.
There are many companies in the hobby that suck the big yam bag, not just Tops, unfortunately. I'd say most of them suck the big yam bag.
Yeah. Basketball. So let's see. Yeah, I would think it would be Series 2 or it could be Update Series. It could be Update Series, but then again, you never know. To me, I think, Series 2 sometimes isn't like that important. So they may, they may put him in Series 2 to help drum up, because that's probably when Yamamoto will be in it also,
Yeah.
from that standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I at least will applaud them though, like for taking the efforts to like try to build hype around releases and stuff like that. Because like if you think of like 2022 football, like right, like outside of like people who are chasing Brock Purdy, like that class was basically trash. Like from the perspective that most people buy football for quarterbacks.
Yep.
As of right now, like outside of Purdy, it looks like most of the quarterbacks are busts. Pickett's still kind of up in the air. Ritter's looking like trash. Malik Willis is like a third stringer. You know what I mean? Like, so there's not a whole lot of value there. But if, say, 2022 Prism had like a chase, you know what I mean, where all of a sudden, like, I could get something like equivalent to like Tom Brady or even like, say, Prism Draft, because Bowman Draft, in my opinion, is kind of like that type of product. You know what I mean? Like, let's
Yeah.
put something that like actually makes it worth people getting, because like, irregardless, like even if this dude spent a couple thousand on that Tom Brady card, he still was able to sell for $158,000 plus dollars. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
like,
if you're him, you gotta be happy as all hell. You didn't hold on to it. You did the
oh
smart
my god,
thing,
yeah,
man. You took
yeah,
advantage of it and you pulled it on release day. And what, a week, it was brought to PSA. It got graded, and boom, we're right on gold, and you got it rolling. I mean, he did the right thing, because who knows? Who knows if he waited till now? I mean, who knows what would happen?
Yeah.
From that standpoint. That's why, like we have said, with these cards, when you see the hype, man, unless it's unless it's a guy that UPC, sell during the hype and get what
Honestly,
you
like,
want.
could you imagine, like, just if you're somebody who collected during COVID and held during COVID, could you imagine going back and selling all of your base Michael Porter Jr. cards at like 10 to 20x what they're worth right now, or
Yep.
any freaking player like equivalent to that? Like, it's insane, like what this modern market's like, you know what I mean? So like, just knowing that, you know what I mean, like it's going to be the same even with these big chase cards, you know what I mean? Like, someday, like, when, say Tops or Panini isn't even a thing anymore, you know what I mean, are people going to actually care about a Color Blast, you know what I mean, or a Kaboom? I don't know. I don't know that they will, but I
Well,
can tell you I have plenty of rare inserts from the 90s that are worth nothing right now because they're not of Michael Jordan or key player X, Y, or Z. You know what I mean? Like, but then there are other inserts, like say a Precious Metal Gems, where it could literally be a player that I've never heard of, and his card's worth over $1,000. You know
right.
what I mean? Because it is such a rare commodity. So it's really one of those things where, like, in the future, what's going to be the thing that's really going to hold value? You know what I mean? Because right now we're already seeing the one of one selling for, maybe a third of what the bounty of the 12 of 50 is. What's that going to sell for 5 years from now? You know what I mean? Where there is no hype around that card.
I don't think it will. I mean, look at the Mac Jones that kid pulled, the Infinite 101 Black that he sold for 110 grand for that guy in the back, at the back of the van. I mean, saying from that standpoint, but I think it, like you wonder about, about certain things. You think about, think about Tops with Yamamoto. And John has said that they, put him in update. It's a big gamble for them to wait that long. Now I know that means maybe because they can't get him in series 2. I know there's no way you get him in series 1. But that's a big gamble. What if that guy gets hurt? With all the hype about him, what happens if he gets hurt? I mean, so what happens to the value of his cards there? But I wanted to go back to what I just saw that and I wanted to mention that. um, But I want to go back to what you had mentioned. You know, forget. You look at certain things. You look at Herbert. Look at Burrow. Um, Look at the value of what their RPAs, are going for. Look at the hey Zach, how you doing, buddy? You look at their RPAs. You right from National Treasures, from Flawless, or their one of ones and stuff like that. You look at all that type of stuff. I cannot imagine that those cards are gonna hold that value.
Can you imagine, like, you're somebody that rips a box of like National Treasures, Flawless, XYZ, and then like you're a collector, so you just stick the stuff up on a shelf, don't think about it. What happens 10 years from now when you flip back through those cards? You might be literally sitting there with less than $100 worth of cards, depending on who you actually pulled.
Eh,
Like that's the really, really crazy thing. Like, because say even like you're gonna hit like a Jokic, like base card. What's that gonna be worth 10 years from now? You know what I mean?
well,
Like, and Jokic is like one of the best players in the game right now.
yeah,
You know what I
no,
mean? Like, now if
I
you get like a
agree.
patch auto, it'll probably hold some value. But like, say your rookie is, like just a run of the mill player that just goes on to be like a decent player. You know what I mean? Like, he could even be like, a 1 or 2 time All-Star. You're still probably looking at like very depreciated asset 10 years from now.
Well, yeah, and I
That's what
think that,
sucks.
yeah, and I think that's what
But
the where a lot of people are saying, I was watching a video and a guy was, you know, saying how he's gonna go ahead and get out because of all the bullshit and everything. And it was like, and the big thing that's driving me out is the fact that, these card values, it's ever like you go to a card show and the guy buying the card, is a guy who's trying to buy it for low comps because he's really not it's not a card for him. He wants to turn around and sell it and so on and so forth. Things like, prices won't go back until the cards end up in the collector's, hands, the final
You know
collector.
what
Its
though?
resting place.
You know what's weird about that logic? By that logic, that would disqualify every single vendor that's at the show. Because at least
Exactly.
in Pittsburgh, like I don't know how card shows work around the country. Like, I mean, I've been to a lot, but in Pittsburgh, like there's a lot of people that walk up to you when you're a vendor and say, "Hey, are you buying?" And then most of those vendors, they're not buying for their PC. They're buying so they can throw it back in their case and make more money off of that product that day.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like literally like whether you're going there as somebody just attending a show, digging through bargain boxes to like throw stuff on eBay like you and I do, or you're a vendor that's literally there buying cards off of people that show up at the show just to resell. It's like, in my opinion, it's kind of the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
at some point, everybody's a flipper. You know what I mean? Whether it's like your primary means in the hobby, you know, at some point everybody's an investor too, because at some point you're holding a card in the hopes that hey, this is going to go up in the future, right? Because right now, like I'm not going to sell off of my Walt Disney Mickey Mouse because that for me is an investment. It's also part of my collection. You know what I mean? Like at some point, someone's going to have to pry that out of my cold dead hand. But um, essentially, like that's something I want to be able to give to my future children and be like, here, go buy a house with this one day. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's not worth a house today, but maybe 50 years from now it could be. You know what I mean? Like that's one of those cards that I feel like could have long-term value. But
Yeah.
then again, that's literally like a super famous person that literally like even his company right now, Disney is like a very marketable powerhouse of a company even in today's market. You know what I mean? Just
Right.
based off of theme parks alone, or even like the Lorcana TCG now, or like any of the movies or TV shows that they're currently putting out. You know what I mean? So because of that stuff, I think that type of card's going to remain relevant. Or if you have like, one of the grails for any other sport, I mean, baseball, Mantle, Clemente, like, you name them, Babe Ruth, those type of players, basketball, we're talking Jordans. Like, I think eventually LeBron's are going to get there too, even though he's going to be, um, somewhat mass produced as far as like his cards long term. But I still think if you have a rare LeBron rookie, like that's going to definitely hold weight in the future. You know what I mean? As opposed to like right now where his prices are just falling, like to the basement, like floors that we haven't seen since pre-pandemic at this point. You know what I mean? But
Right.
thinking of like at some point, I'm sure the exact same thing happened to Michael Jordan in like the junk wax era or whatever. You know what I mean? So just knowing like history repeats itself. You know what I
What?
mean? Like the exact same equivalents to Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, David Robinson, all those guys that are in your bargain box today. Like those players are going to be in your bargain box 10, 20, 30 years from now too. It's just going to be the, what are, John Morant, Zion Williamson, Tyler Hero, like, and honestly, those might be the players that turn out to be base. Like, yeah, who knows if like 20 years from now, anyone's going to even remember Tyler Hero if you're not a Heat fan. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
100%
Or,
correct. Unless some,
you know,
I mean, unless that the superstars are one going to be remembered. But I think the thing you have is this from a standpoint of I think where the hobby has hurt itself for long term is that you know if you want to take Mantle, there's one iconic card. If you take Gretzky, there's one iconic card. If you take Jordan, there's one iconic card, right? But go to Patty Mahomes, probably Brady, probably LeBron, right? To somewhat. Maybe the numbers
yeah,
get smaller. But you jump to today, you jump to the last few years. Well, let's say Joe Burrow becomes a multi Super Bowl winner. Herbert, multi Super Bowl winner, potentially, right?
Yep.
There's not one iconic card of that player because, hey, I have the flawless one of one. Well, I have the National Treasures one of one. Well, I have the Prism Infinite, black one of one, right? So, like I think that's where the hobby that's where you have the issue of holding value of certain
Yeah.
cards as time goes by, from that standpoint. Um, all right,
And
Monty, have a good one. I didn't want to. I scroll. I'm not at the bottom of the chat. I'm at the middle because John brought this up. I didn't want to think John thought we forgot about it and everything. Do I think the Commanders go back to the Redskins next season or the following season?
I
I would
don't.
think 26 might be the earliest. I don't think during 24 or 25. I think new ownership will have to get in there, show some stuff, maybe, steady the ship a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Show some stability, show some goodwill towards the fans, towards the people, not be. I mean, Snyder was, you know what I'm saying? I think if you do that, then I think you can pursue going back to the rightful name of the team, in my
I
opinion.
think the I think that they probably won't, just for the sense that I think PR wise, there's going to be, regardless of what happens, people are going to be outraged. You know what I mean? Like, for the most part, most Native American people that I've spoken to could care less if the team's called the Redskins. You know what I mean? Like, they could care less. It didn't bother them at all. But again, there's a certain demographic of people that are going to always think that anything that has any condemnation with skin tone is a racist term. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, it could be the red skins, the yellow skins, the black skins, the purple skins. It doesn't really matter. Like, there's always going to be somebody that finds offense to whatever color skin that is. You know what I mean? So,
Uh,
because of that, and because of like the type of world we live in where people are so quickly canceled, that's the main reason I think that they won't eventually switch back to Redskins. Now, I do think from a markability standpoint, like Redskins has a long, storied history. Most of the fans of the team are fans of the Washington Redskins, not the Washington football team or the Washington Commanders that they've been known as in the past few years. Now, they're still a fan of the team because it's their team, regardless of what you call them. You know what I mean? Like, Lord knows I'm calling the Steelers something other than the Steelers right now because of the way they played this season. But um, it's still their team, regardless of what you're calling them. But I just feel like with like so much racial tension and like cancel culture and stuff like that, I just think like for them it's easier just to stay the Commanders, or whatever they're going to be called. Not to
I wa-
mention it's more marketing dollars. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's having to change the logo again, and which it's not like a super amount of money into that, but I mean when you figure that they've already put millions into. Hey, we're going to be the Washington football team. Hey, now we're going to be the Commanders. Hey, now we're going to be, what I mean? Like, at some point, just stick with something. You know what I mean? Like,
I, I, I think
personally,
if
if it's
yeah,
me, I like the Redskins, but
yep.
that's
I
me.
think if they would have had a tribe name associated with the with the image, I think they probably could have kept it.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Because like Florida State Seminoles, that's what the whole big thing
Yeah,
was about the Seminoles, so like the Blackhawks with the hockey and some of the
yeah,
other teams that have not changed their name that had that image. I'm not talking about the baseball team from Georgia because they don't really have that image, right?
yeah,
But when you talk about some of the other teams that had a Indian, Native American,
yeah.
image, those that had we're not using, let's say, if you want, for lack of better words, a slang term, like St. John's. St. John's used to be the Redmen, right? And they had to change to the Storm, which is
Yeah.
You know, could not understand that when you're in New York City, but you call yourself the Storm. You
Yeah.
could have probably thought of something a little better.
So
But I think that from that standpoint, I think they would have had, they would have had a chance there.
let's put it out there from this perspective. Like, imagine you are a Native American, or you're somebody of like Indian descent. Isn't it like a pride point to like be able to see a nationally recognized logo with somebody that looks like you on it? Like, because I remember growing up, like my favorite movie was Goodfellas because I come from an Italian family. I loved The Sopranos. I was all fired up about them because I come from an Italian family. Now, granted, that's not like a positive side of Italian culture, but like seeing something that was so popular in pop culture that was so closely tied to like people that were like me, like obviously not criminals, but people that were of Italian descent. You know what I mean? I thought that was really cool. You know what I mean? So like would not other people, like think, hey, that's really cool. There's literally a team named after, you know, us, or like there's a logo with somebody that looks like us. You know what I mean? I personally think that would be cool. Like if somebody came out with like a team called the Pittsburgh Yinzers, you know what I mean? That was all about like, because that's like a slang term for somebody from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Because instead of saying y'all, we say yins. You know what I mean? Like I would think that was cool because that
Yep.
would basically epitomize me and like my people group that I live in. You know what I mean? Like in fact, I think
Yeah.
that's probably even my fantasy football name in like a few different leagues. You know
It
what I
is
mean? But
Pittsburgh
like,
Hinders.
yeah,
You're right. He did. When FedEx said something, that definitely went ahead and happened and everything. Um, yeah, I think Magic said he did want, something.
oh, nice. We have a post here from 814. Native Americans call for Commanders name change to Redskins. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing too. Is that like I said, the natives have no issue with it. Like,
Yeah.
because honestly, if literally somebody put out a logo today, like if the New England Patriots changes from that dorky looking logo to a handsome looking face like mine, I'd be all about that. You know what I
Heck
mean?
yeah.
Give me a nice red, white, and blue hat, and
Yeah.
like I'd be fine with that. Could look
Well, and
just like me. It would not bother me.
it's amazing when you hear a lot of people talk and everything, again, it was one of those things where pressures came from one side, another side, but then, it had nothing to, look, we can say whatever we want to say. It's had nothing to do at the end of the day. Of they changed it because they felt it was the right thing. It was if they thought it was insensitive. They did it because FedEx said, if you don't, we're
Yep.
taking all our money away. Right? Like Dusty said,
Yep.
they made that change because there was a big ass stack of Benjamins that was going to get taken away from them. That's
Uh-huh.
why they didn't take it
Yep.
away for any other reason. Because the truth of the matter is, if he would have fought it, and I don't want to go down this road. I'm going to make this. This is going to be a very short road. We're going to go down. But if you think about it, a lot of other people, they go, well, what I don't like is there's nobody that looks like me. Right? That's one of the
Yep.
things you hear about a lot of different things. Well, there's nobody there that looks like me. That's why we need to make a change. Well, they had somebody, that's why you would think, to your point, that, people, Native Americans, that they would be happy about it because guess what? Hey, in the NFL, there's only 32. There's only 32 of those teams, man. And one of them one of them has a logo like me. So enough of
For
that.
sure.
We need to switch gears though.
Definitely. But yeah, it's definitely a really interesting topic to think about. You know what I mean? Like, I guess right before we switch gears, like the last thing I will say is just from the perspective of it being all about the Benjamins, like really what is more important? Like if you take pride in like your team, your image, like who you are, like your identity, basically what Snyder said was money's more important than our identity. You know what I mean? Like because this is who they were as a team. You know what I mean? This is what they were known as. And if, a sponsor can say, hey, I'm just going to stop paying your sponsorship deal. And then all
Right.
of a sudden, you're willing to uproot everything about yourself, you know what I mean, to literally go nameless for multiple seasons before you become the Commanders. Like that to me was the worst part. Like being the Washington football team, like that just showed like I give zero craps about the product I'm putting out there. Like that,
Right.
I could not even name it. Like it's all good if you're going to change the name, but at least give it another one. You know what I mean? That was the part that like chapped my butt.
Yeah.
Get a new iconic error card. Which one's that?
Yeah. What card did you get? But hey, switch gears. Look, it's 10:50. I think it's your time to shine, Anthony,
I would
and
have to
do the
agree.
giveaway.
Let's do the giveaway. All right.
All right. Hey,
You gonna pop up the random comment generator for me?
bang!
All right. So we're gonna go
Here we
ahead
go,
and
folks. Again,
filter out duplicates. If
for
you
you
guys
guys
haven't
that
done this yet, go ahead and pinned comment is what you're gonna go ahead and leave a comment on. I'll give you guys a few seconds. I'm gonna kind of dilly dally, just in case you're trying to still leave a comment.
get there, you got a shot. You got a shot. Give it a shot. Giddy up and go, go, go,
3,
go, go. Get over there.
2, Uno. Let's go. See who wins. 17 unique comments. Where's the winner? Oh, start. That might help, huh?
Winner, winner, chicken.
Hey, ripping and flipping. There you go, brother.
Dusty!
All yours, my friend.
Way to go,
Congratulations.
man.
Do me a favor. Scrolling along the bottom of this stream, you'll see both of our Instagrams. Just send a DM to Picksburgh74 with your mailing address, and I'll get this thing shipped off to you. If you would rather have store credit, let me know. You can trade it in for $40 eBay credit as well. But the card's honestly worth more than that, so you'd probably be better off just selling the card. But either or, you just let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram. But yeah, congratulations, brother. Appreciate all your support.
Way to go, Dusty. Nice job, man. Nice job. Yeah, look, so hey, look, there we are. We are live on the X, baby. Woohoo!
Here we
Giveaways
go.
happening right now on X.
Nice.
Don't tell anybody. Way to go, Dusty. Great. It's nice. I mean,
Congratulations, brother.
great to have somebody actually in the chat at the same time. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Although he hasn't said anything, he must have passed out on the floor when he saw it. But it's getting back to the the card stuff as you saw, some all stuff that happened, Tops series. Oh, look at this. Look at this news here.
Oh, yeah, that's
Josh
big news.
Giddey coming.
That
So,
means like anybody that was buying Josh Giddey when all that stuff broke is literally sitting on some profit right now.
yep, they'll be sitting on and just hold it, let him get back, let him, now that he's cleared everything, his head will probably get clear. He starts playing a little bit better. Bingo, bango, boingo. Who knows what's going to happen? That's awesome.
Ain't that a shame though? Like if he is truly innocent, like imagine like the terrible mental anguish this dude had to have gone through. Because everybody's looking at him now, like basically talking about him like, hey, he's the next Wander Franco, you know what I mean? Like I know I've talked crap on Josh Giddey and I don't even know Josh Giddey. You know what I mean? Like who among us probably hasn't at least said some kind of snide comment since this came out? So he's living in a world full of people like that, like to where like people probably even close to him are looking at him differently, like that would be awful, so I'm glad he was cleared. Like if he's truly innocent, like I'm glad that he cleared his name, and hopefully this won't, like, the stigma won't stick with him, Because until I saw that comment, I'd still probably be talking crap on Josh Giddey.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but you're right. I mean, and we think about from our standpoint, here's a kid gets accused, you know, of something, and he's living in a foreign country, living in a country, that I mean, not his homeland, so from that standpoint and everything, so
That's
it's good for
awesome,
him, good for him.
Dusty.
More basketball news. What do you think about the Pascal Siakam trade?
That's big news, man. Like, it seems like Toronto's really just shipping a lot of their big pieces away, man. Like, first OG Anunoby,
Yeah.
now Pascal and Spicy P was kind of like their franchise guy for like ever since Kawhi left. So
Yep.
that was a big trade. It's going to be interesting to see him and Halliburton together. I think that Halliburton's like he's in the running for most improved player in my opinion. Like just to see what he's been able to do just this season has been really awesome. So seeing those two together would be awesome. Dusty, you won the Iron Man suspended animation, brother. It's the graded 10 card.
So I think when you look at it from a standpoint, I mean, you look at that team. Um,
That's one of my grails too,
why?
Dusty. The 1977 Star Wars Golden Rod, aka C3PO. I would love to get that exact card autographed by Anthony Daniels with some kind of inappropriate inscription. That would just be amazing. Like, I'm
Yeah,
so excited to see you or something like crazy like that. You know what I mean? Like, have you seen that card, Michael?
I have not.
So essentially it's just a card of C3PO from Star Wars, but there's like literally like a boner, like like it doesn't look like an actual penis, but like there's like a metal like rod coming up right where C3PO's wang would be. So it's considered like it's kind of like the Bill Ripken of like
Oh
nonsense
yeah,
cards. Yeah, it's like it's considered the boner card.
yeah.
Speaking of culture collision, we were there. Lady fella got like a vast history lesson on that specific card.
Oh yeah.
So I popped so hard, I was like, "Whoa!" This guy had an entire display case. I was like, "You have so many boners."
Yeah. So Dusty, before we can move on, so hey, Anthony's IG is right there. Go on IG and send him your information so he could get that card out to you.
Yep.
Um, but you got to figure, you look at Toronto, very, very interesting from a standpoint of, what Kawhi, Lowry, um, you know, Ojanobi.
Yep.
Now you have, Siakam, Fred Van Lee,
Yeah.
Van Fleet, oof,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And the way the trade went down was Indiana sent Bruce Brown, Jordan Norwar, and 3 first-round picks. Now,
Outside of
and
the picks, it's basically trash. You know what I
and
mean?
then
Like
they went
Bruce
ahead and
Brown's
then they
like,
also somehow, I don't know exactly what happened, but somehow the Pelicans got involved. They sent Kira Lewis Jr. and a second-round pick to the Pacers. The Pacers sent Kira Lewis Jr. to Toronto.
okay,
One of the picks they have Indiana owns Utah, Houston, Clippers, Oklahoma City pick, however that works out. So if it's the lesser of one of those, they get that in 2024 and they get a 26 first rounder. So not a whole lot, but you look at Toronto, I mean, ever since they've won that title, they've just slowly, you know,
yeah.
got rid of everything like that.
I could see that too. Brown's
Yeah.
like one of those guys that's basically a journeyman. Like he's
Yep.
been on so many different rosters, and for that exact reason, you know what I mean. He's somebody that's not overly expensive. Like you can afford to buy him out, and he's somebody that's easily movable because you can basically plug him in because he's been a part of so many different systems. But he's also not anybody that you're going to want to start ever because if you're starting him, then you basically suck.
Yeah. But I think, from a standpoint of is, I don't think the trade does anything for Siakam's value from a card perspective. I don't
Hey,
know.
thanks, Brendan. Appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Used to get to do it a whole lot more. So it's fun to be able to do it again. For any of you guys that didn't get to see what he's talking about there, Sunday I released a video. I was actually asked to preach at my local church. So I actually got about 15 minutes to share a short sermon. So if anyone wants to see that, feel free to. It's called, I think, Hope That Lasts, what I titled it.
Very cool.
But thank you, brother. Appreciate that.
Um, I don't think, I don't know. So, to me, I don't think trades, affect value that much. Um, you know,
I guess it depends on where you go. Like, for example, like I feel like Soto's probably got like a pretty decent bump when he went to New York, but that's because like all them Yankee fans were like rabid to get his cards.
that's
Um,
true.
but I guess it really depends on the fan base too. Like, because even Marty says like, hey, it could just be any random prospect that's a Yankee. He pretty much always tries to get Yankee prospects because he says they sell just as about as fast as anything else that he lists.
Yep.
So I guess if there's a big enough fan base, you know what I mean, it's probably not a bad idea to kind of go with that type of stuff either. Or
Yeah.
maybe you could even see a bump like we were talking about with Soto. I'm sure
I
it
think,
didn't bump like crazy high, but like there's probably more people going after it is what I meant because he's on a more popular situation.
yeah, you probably had more people, looking. So if you have more people looking, obviously that means you're going to have more people, that are going to be willing to buy and pay, and maybe you don't, maybe you're right. Maybe like it's not like if his, I don't know, just let's say for sake of argument, let's say his rookie card was selling for $10, right? It's not like all of a sudden it goes up to 50, but maybe it goes, to 15, 18, something along those lines. So you can get, excuse me, you can get a bump from it, from that standpoint, because all of a sudden more eyes are going to go on. And if more eyes are going to go on it, hey, you might as well go ahead and, if you're selling them, up your price by a couple of bucks,
Mhm. For sure.
you know? Like I wonder with Otani, I wonder if he would not have seen a bunch because he basically stayed in the same place.
That could be a part of it. You know what I mean? Like now, granted, the Dodgers are a lot more popular in LA than the Angels are. Really, outside of Anaheim, the Angels don't get very much love in LA. Um, I mean, and that was when they had Trout and Otani. You know what I
True.
mean? So they're kind of like I would imagine like if you look at like the Knicks and the Nets, like up until Jay-Z bought the Nets, where the Nets were just kind of like the redheaded stepchild of like that area. Or like,
Yeah.
like any other teams that are like, ones of I guess Lakers and Clippers would be a perfect example,
Yep.
whereas like they LA is super fickle. Like they like one team, could care less about the other, but they still need to have multiple because they're LA.
Yep.
Um, the LA girl has something to say.
The LA girl has something to say.
But yeah, I definitely think that probably has something to do with it, Michael. But I also think that Shohei probably didn't get as big a bump because he's coming off of injury too. So I think that his prices were deflated to begin with because of the fact that he's coming off of the injury. So I think if anything, they might have spiked a little bit back up just to like prior that the injury or whatever. But I definitely think that the Dodger blue effect is going to be a big deal in LA as opposed to him being an Angel.
Oh, sure. And you figure, the Dodgers have a bigger reach countrywide, to like you said.
Yeah.
Um, so speaking of that, speaking of, values and card price, they all kind of stuff. What do you think about the football playoffs? How does that gonna, do you think that, for instance, um a Jalen Hurts, him, bowing out. Do you think his cards take a hit? You know what I'm saying? Like some of these teams that were supposed to go ahead and win but don't win. Obviously, like a CJ Stroud, man. If you have any kind of CJ Stroud cards, again, if you're not a super fan, get him out and get him listed because right now, probably between now and game time, I mean, is good. Now you take a chance if you put him up on for sale now. They sell and he goes out and has another crazy ass game and he beats the Ravens, right? Because they play in the Ravens, I think.
In my opinion, I think right now with the football market, you're kind of playing Russian roulette with the card prices for playoff players, for example. Like, let me say, like if CJ Stroud goes out and wins again, his card prices are probably going to go up between this week and next week. But if he goes out and loses, they're going to go down. Now,
Right.
at the end of the year, his card prices are going to go down. Like, and I say that from experience. Like, if you look at Patrick Mahomes, who has won multiple Super Bowls, literally, like his card prices from the time before the Super Bowl till the when the game is over and the next day, the prices go down. Like, and that's with him winning the Super Bowl right then and there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like immediately following, the prices went down. So if that's the case, then like if it's me right now, I'm capitalizing on whatever momentum those cards have and I'm getting rid of them. You know what I mean? Like because the minute the season's over, they're going down. You know what I mean? And if the player gets eliminated, they're definitely going down. It's going to be a lot harder to move at that point too, because then there's going to be zero hype around that player until the next year. So
Yeah,
move it
I
while
agree.
you can. Like
I mean,
there's still money to be made, but it's Russian roulette. You know what I mean? You might pull the trigger and nothing happens. You know what I mean? You're making more money next week, or you pull the trigger, you have no more brains.
yeah, but I
But
think
for
I
me, I'd
think when
rather
you
just have
look
the.
at it, when you look at it though, he and Jordan Love, out of the 8 teams that are left, Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, Stroud, Goff, Mayfield, Purdy, and Love. Love going to to San Francisco and beating that team. I can see, him getting a pop, but the same type of thing. That's potentially right now at current state, his cards probably are not, are at their highest levels right now again. And we're not talking, that doesn't mean all of a sudden, his, a rookie autograph means all of a sudden now it's going for thousands of dollars. I mean, if it was going for 50, maybe it's going 75, maybe it's going for 100. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about, gigantic numbers, but I think right now, they are. And then to your point, a lot is going to depend on what is happening. And look, he goes out there and for all he was doing, I guarantee you his card prices were probably going up a little bit during the game. He goes out there and he friggin' stinks up the joint and he starts throwing interception after interception. During the game, his prices are gonna go down. They ain't even gonna wait till the game to be over.
Yeah.
They'll start right then and there. But I think to your point of is that when you look at the people that are here right now, the playoffs are a time when now players cards are going to be where they're at. They're not necessarily going to go any lower for the teams that win. The teams that lose, I mean, who if Patty Mahomes loses to Buffalo, I don't think it's going to go, I don't think it's going to be crazy that his value goes down. I think if you look at certain things that happen, again, Stroud, if Stroud goes out there and somehow he is an integral part to them beating Baltimore, yeah, I think his cards will take a nice bump. But again, to your point, one bad game,
Mhm.
and done. But I think I can't see, like I said, when you look at Jackson, if you look at the AFC, you look at Jackson, Mahomes,
Mhm.
and Allen and Stroud. Stroud's the only one that winning can help the value of his cards.
Yeah, I agree.
When you go to the NFC, you got Love, Purdy, Mayfield, and Goff. I don't see Purdy goes out there. There are so many people who, they still doubt what he could do. Purdy goes out there and he has a good game and he continues to do what he's doing out there. His value could go ahead and take a hit. I mean, not a hit, a spike.
Yeah.
All right, Rocky, have a good one, buddy.
Yeah, I think more so the
Drop it
NFC
over.
guys have a lot more room because even like the Jared Goffs of the world, like they've come down so much from like where he was drafted number 1 overall. Like his values, like even Baker Mayfield from where he was drafted number 1 overall, like his values have come drastically down. I mean, Baker's been one of like the big guys that a lot of people have been like going crazy for on Veriswap this past week.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen people literally say, "Hey, send me Baker Mayfields." You know what I mean? Like, if I had any like decent Baker Mayfields that weren't like score base rookies, I would have in a heartbeat been trying to send all of my Baker Mayfield stuff to somebody. You know what I mean? Just because like right now, this is like the best value based off of the fact that he just bounced the Eagles from the playoffs. Like, not a one person, like outside of like a diehard Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, was thinking that the Bucks were going to bounce the Eagles from the playoffs.
But you do realize that game is 2 former number 1 overall picks. They're the only 2 quarterbacks out of the 8 that are there that are number 1
Yep.
overall picks.
Yep. Isn't that wild?
And they're probably the 2 out of the 8 that you don't want leading your team to the
Probably
Super Bowl.
don't. You probably don't. I mean, so it's nuts when you think about that. So, but I think you're right. I mean, I think for Baker or for Goff's cards to take any kind of I don't even want to say the word significant, but a bump that is really noticeable to me, I think that's a Super Bowl win to me is the only way.
Yeah.
I don't think making it to the NFC championship game and then losing does anything for them. I think those are the only ones. Love can win one more week. Like, I think if you look at Love beating San Francisco and let's say, I don't care, either one, the Buccaneers are the underdogs. Let's say the Buccaneers. If you have Love win, you have Baker win, Love's cards will see a bigger jump than Baker's will, percentage wise. Not necessarily dollar figures. I'm not saying they're going to go up huge dollar numbers, but again, a $25 card may go to $35.
Yeah.
Who knows? Anything is possible. Anything is possible with it. So I think from that standpoint, the other ones, I don't think I don't think again Stroud's the only one there. I think if Stroud somehow gets past Baltimore, I think his cards would have a decent spike up.
I mean, that's going to be a big win. Like, just overcoming Baltimore, just Lamar in and of himself, let alone like that entire team to get the win. Like, honestly, I was surprised Stroud handled the Browns in the way that he did. I'm surprised that they won. I'm surprised in the fashion that they won.
Yeah.
Because the Browns were a hot team.
It wasn't even a game.
Yeah.
It really was not even a game. It's no different than the Dallas game. The Green Bay Dallas. That was not a game, even though the score ended up where it was. Towards the end, it didn't matter anything. Yeah, I think when Rodgers stays healthy and he plays a full year in New York, you'll see a lot of his inserts will sell. Obviously, his Jets cards will sell, and you'll see his mid-range, mid-level, mid to lower level cards will definitely start to move, especially if he does well and could lead Gangrene, to something decent.
What's the deal with him right now and Pat McAfee? Have you heard anything about that?
I don't. The only thing I heard was that everybody thought, "Oh, ha ha ha, he's not on Tuesdays. He's done. He's done." Well, the thing is he was on Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
The only reason why he's not on Tuesday because his agreement with Pat is that during the season he will be on Tuesdays.
Gotcha.
Season ended, so he showed up on Wednesday. but who knows? That whole thing is nuttier than friggin' squirrel crap, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just that whole thing that's going on there, and then Pat all of a sudden on his show talking about the executives at ESPN.
Yeah.
I don't get it, man.
It'll be interesting to see how that all rattles out.
Yeah. Yeah. But as we we're always talking everything, if you are getting your cards and stuff like that, and you are doing, yeah.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
But obviously, again, if you're looking to maximize some profit here with some football cards, obviously focus on if you have quarterbacks on those NFL playoff teams, running backs, wide receivers, the key positions or the key players on those teams. Those are the ones you want to get listed as soon as you can.
Yep.
Basketball still got a ways to go for the playoffs. If you have any hockey, I'm actually working on hockey. If you have any hockey,
I just photographed some hockey the other day.
yeah, just go ahead and get your hockey, up there, and I think you'll see the same type of thing. Again, you may see a little more activity, as playoff starts and teams, or as teams make playoff runs and some things happen and stuff. Breaks were very, very interesting for hockey. What's happening. I was in, I've joined, I've joined in a bunch of hockey breaks because the hockey's still expensive and not there's only certain teams that I would like to get certain players for. So to me, it's I get in a break or buy the singles rather than buying a box, one of the more expensive boxes, a blast or something like that, completely different. But if you're getting into like the cup, if you're getting into stature, those types of more higher end boxes,
Yeah.
just do breaks. And one of the things that I've noticed is that because breaks in hockey don't sell great, that a lot of the breakers, what they are doing is they're taking the Chicago Blackhawks,
Yeah.
and they're putting them as a random team.
I've actually seen that too.
Yeah, to somebody in the break. That this way people go, well, heck, okay, I'll take a shot at the Carolina Hurricanes for $22 because maybe I can go ahead and get lucky and get the Chicago Blackhawks and get a Connor Bedard.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what's awesome too, because it's like a lot of them you don't even have to get a random spot to end up with that. You can end up with a the team you actually want. Like for me, the Pens, what I mean, and then still end up with a Bedard. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as the NFL season starts to go down, you shift to NBA, you shift to NHL for the next few weeks, and then in February-ish, middle of February, you turn to baseball when spring training starts and all that kind of stuff happens. Thank you, Dom. Thanks a lot. Appreciate that. So it's an ebb and flow type thing. I did pick up some Series 1. I did pre-order from Topps website, so I do have some Series 1 coming. I'm going to actually do something that I probably, something that I have not done, but as soon as I get, a box, I'm going to just, rip the whole thing, and I'm actually going to attempt to very, very quickly, all of the cards I want to keep, all then basically my Mets cards and Riley Green, the couple, the one or two guys that I like to collect. I think I'm going to try and rip my box and then put it in order and get it up on eBay right away. Like every single card, every single base card, every single card. Just want to try and get up and see what happens. See what happens. See, I mean, because the truth is, you can get up there, even at, at $2 a card, yeah, if you do free shipping, who gives it, who cares? But if you can do $2 a card, a lot of players, people will be out there. You're in the market first, you go from there and everything. So that's
Yep.
what my plan is, with that stuff.
Definitely smart.
Yeah. Hey, one of the things I wanted to ask you, do you do any promotion, not promotions as far as promoting listings, but do you do any kind of promotion with your cards of, a coupon code or a discount if you do, buy a certain number or anything like that?
Yeah, so I do volume pricing on everything. Then I also will do coupon codes from time to time, and I target certain people. Like, so I'll do like repeat buyers with one every once in a while. Then, like, so you can set up like different promotional groups, like that you want to send them to. One could be like repeat buyers, one could just be people that follow the store, like, because there's like multiple hundred people that like follow my store, and I don't know if they've ever actually purchased anything from
Mhm.
me, but it could just be somebody that saw me on YouTube or Instagram or for whatever reason are following my store. So I can target those specific people if I want to. You know what I mean? So yeah, I will occasionally put together coupons for about 20% off. And I send that to repeat buyers and people that like are watching things typically.
So when I was doing Amazon, and how also, what to put SKUs on, you bought these pages of
Yeah.
labels that
Yep.
you would run through, and you'd have to put your own little SKU number on there.
Yeah.
Everything. And I bought whatever the big ass box size is. It's about
Yeah.
that thick, and I have it sitting there, and I've been looking. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell? So what I decided to do, and I just started this week with sales that came in over the weekend and Monday and Tuesday, is when I fold my I put my card in a piece of paper, just to go ahead and take, so it's not going, loose in the envelope and could get thrown around and stuff.
Hmm.
What I used to do, I used to, tape it closed, so I would take my paper, and I'd fold it this way, and I would fold
Yep.
it this way, then I'd put a piece of tape here.
Yeah.
So what I did was I printed out on those labels that says, "Thank you."
Yeah.
Um, here, use this code for 15% off your next order. So now
That's
when I
awesome.
fold it over, rather than putting tape, I use
Yeah.
the label to
Yeah.
close it,
That's awesome.
you know? Yes,
Yeah, Big John, I do have an official eBay store. I'll
it's
drop
the
that
link the link is in the description.
link for anybody that's live. Anybody that's watching on a replay, go to the description.
Yeah. And if you're not, if you're looking right here, there it is right there. Buy them discount run coupons for $5 or higher if you want consistent sales. Interesting. I didn't think about that idea, but that's a pretty good idea. So I was putting that on anything, see what's going on. I tried to do that. Hey, buy 6 or more, get 25% off. And I guess I don't know. I didn't. What I didn't know is when you run it and you keep it out there, um, does it automatic? It didn't seem to be adding my new cards to it.
You know what? I think it just sometimes varies. A lot of times, if it's a promotion and you're selecting the cards that are added into it, unless they're cards that you've selected, it won't automatically add the new ones. Now, sometimes if you're building it and it's like, this applies to everything in the store, sometimes it will. So it's one of those things where it's like finicky and like eBay's like in my opinion their like infrastructure is pretty archaic as far as like what you can do with it. Now, there's a lot of great things you can do, and like a lot of different types of programs that correlate with it as far as like, listing and, but when it comes down to it, there's plenty of room that they really do need to improve in order for us to, have maximum efficiency as sellers, in my opinion.
Yep.
For example, like just the mobile interface is so much different than the computer interface.
Yep.
So getting to do a lot of stuff that you have to do as a seller, you have to actually jump on a computer to be able to actually efficiently take care of things sometimes, because the phone doesn't even give you the option to do those things.
Yeah, and I'm surprised when I see, on Facebook, a bunch of people go, "I only use my phone." I'm like, "Man, God bless you." I would not be, if that was the only way I'd be able to do eBay, I would not be, I would not be able to do it. I just wouldn't. I just would not be able to do it and everything. A big, Big John, the other thing is, yes, that's a big part also, but there are other benefits, to it. Like for instance, away mode. Like when I travel for work, even though I have Mike here, and a lot of times I try not to bother him to go ahead and keep up with the sales. I could put my store in away mode, and if somebody buys something while I'm away, they get a message saying, "Hey, this buyer is away until January 20th." So still allows them to buy something, but then I won't get hit from my shipping policy, or I won't get hit from my seller status because I'm missing my handling time. You know.
It makes a lot of sense, Dusty. I actually I do a lot of the multiple, since I do such cheap cards for the bulk of, like, because I have like almost 6,000 cards, but I would say probably 90% of the cards in there are like $1 to $5. So with that being said, like I'm not gonna put like 20 different listings of the same Jerry Rice card up. You know what I mean? Now, if it's a rookie card, then I might, because people actually really care about the specifics of its condition. But
Yeah.
no one's grading a 1993 action packed Jerry Rice that I have listed for $1 on eBay. So, like, with that being said, I can throw up all 16 copies I have, at $1, multiple copies. You know what I mean? And then doing it that way, you actually do get the benefit of people being able to buy multiple copies and get that multi discount as well. So I've actually, like, my girlfriend was just asking me the other day, like, why are people buying the same card? Like, because like I had one person buy 3 of the same Anthony Edwards, another person buy 2 of the same Brett Favres, another guy bought 4 of the same Dan Marino, and it's like, because I offer a discount. Like if you buy 2, you get a discount. If you buy 3, you get a bigger discount. You buy 4, you get a bigger discount. You buy 5, you get a bigger discount. So it's like a lot of times if somebody believes in the player or they collect them, like if I'm going through dollar boxes or like anything like cheaper than $1, like 50-cent quarter boxes, 10-cent boxes, any Cordell Stewart I see, even if there's 20 of the exact same card, I'm pulling out, putting in a stack because they're cheap and Cordell's my guy. You know what I mean? So like there's plenty of people that go through my eBay store and kind of do the same thing. Like if I give them good enough value on the players they like, they'll go through and buy, multiple copies of them. Or if they're speculating, you know what I mean? And this guy might think, hey, Anthony Edwards is going to be like the next LeBron James. You know what I mean? So that might be why he bought 3 of his Prism cards, just to kind of stash some of his stuff and potentially make more money on it in the future.
What up, Will?
Hey, brother. Good to see you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I have the basic store, so I only have the 1,000 regular listings, and then the 10,000 listings in the uh, in the what do you call it? The sports card category, or whatever that category is. I don't know if you go to a starter store, which is the 251. I don't know how many. I don't know how many you get. From that standpoint, if you get, what it might be, but I mean, like I said, what I like about the what I like about the store, again, for me, was definitely, the away mode is something that is really, really important, from that standpoint. I mean, it's important for you with the travel that you do, right? At least you still keep your store searchable, and people can, see your stuff. And if they decide to buy, they want to buy.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
anytime, Will. Please welcome, brother.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I, yeah, I don't know what I don't know what sells quick from a sports card perspective.
it really just depends on like hype for the most part, or what I've found. Like, and I've been talking to my girlfriend a lot about this lately because I buy a lot of like bulk cards or a lot of bargain box stuff. You can even target stuff from like the 90s that sells fast. Just if you find something that has a collector base. Like I've been selling a lot of Brett Favre's, a lot of Dan Marino's, a lot of Barry Sanders, Jerry Rice, like guys that are like the goats, like that I grew up watching. Like these were the guys that were like a big deal, like the Patrick Mahomes of today. Whenever I was a kid,
Yep.
so there's probably people that are my age, like buying the hell out of these cards from me. And I'm finding that like in the exact same day I'm listing them. Now it's not like all of them because I'll literally sit there and list 50 to 60 cards of Dan Marino in one day, and I might sell 4 or 5 of them in that same day. Now, is that common to sell 5 Dan Marino cards in a day? Probably not all the time, but when you're throwing 60 of them up on eBay, you're going to get a pretty good chance that if you find somebody that collects Dan Marino and they're like, oh, look, this guy just listed this Marino, that Marino. Like I'm finding that I'm getting multi-quantity orders from people that want to get different copies of that player that I'm listing. So I've been really targeting those type of players lately too that are more highly collectible. You know what I mean? Like for me, like if it's a decent card of Ben Roethlisberger, I'm probably gonna buy it. You know what I mean? It's the same for like I think of like because I'm Carlos, he's a Brett Favre guy. You know what I mean? Like it's the
Right.
exact same thing.
Yep. So I see it's 90s and early 2000s, especially basketball. That's good. That's awesome. Do you source that only at shows?
Um,
I'll do card shops and shows.
I do shops too. Like me and my girlfriend actually just spent the last like 4 hours before this show at Guy on the Couch. Shout out to those guys. Um, and we literally plundered the heck out of their Lorcana section today. Did pretty well, but I do find that certain card shops that have bargain boxes, you can do really, really well at. As far as if the shop doesn't have time to dig through the cards that are going to be 10 cents or 25 cents, 50 cents, find that niche to where like now I'm not just saying the cheap cards because there's some shops you can go to, like especially here in Pittsburgh, 'cause we have a lot of really good shops. You can look at $5 boxes and find $20 cards. You can look at
Yeah.
$3 boxes, find $10 to $12 cards, like all day long. It's just a matter of knowing that subject matter so that when you're flipping through the box, going, oh, why is that in here? That's worth considerably more than what these cards are. You know what I mean? So, whatever your niche is, like you can go into any show, any shop, or whatever, and find good value as long as you know it. Um, that's actually a good idea. That's a really good idea. Um, yeah, I should definitely try that. I
Yeah.
may have to.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I was going to try and look at. Um, was I mean, a lot more people are talking about selling in lots and stuff, and seeing how that works. So that was one of the things. When I go to Culture Collision, because I'm gonna go to one of the. I think this weekend I'm gonna try and get to. We have nothing going on, so I think I'm gonna try and get to one of the local shows or the
Nice.
smaller ones. The hotel that has, I don't know, maybe like, I don't know, 40 tables or so, and go through their bins. I just don't know if how. I don't know when you. Um, I don't know what their inventory is going to be like, so it's going to be interesting to see. But I wanted to try and look and maybe pick, a couple of different, players, you know, a couple of, a couple three baseball, a couple three basketball, a couple three football, and just focus on those players alone when I go to the show. Like go through the boxes, and I'm only looking for, through that football box, I'm only looking for these three players and see everything that I could buy, and then try and do, the bigger card lots, whether it's
Yeah.
9 card lot like Dusty's saying, or if it's, a 20, 25 card lot. And, and see what the potential is of
Yeah.
that.
Even going back to the question on sourcing, there's oftentimes I'll even source online. Like lately, I've been like super hooked on Lorcana. I've been buying Lorcana straight from like eBay or TCG Player with the idea of after I get to my playset, I'm just going to resell it for more than what I just paid for it. And the nice thing about Lorcana or like any kind of TCG, most of the comps with that kind of stuff, most of the people that are buying that stuff go off a TCG Player more so than eBay. So, like, say something sells stupid low on eBay, most of the time they're going off TCG Player comps. So it's not as, at least what I found, as volatile as the sports market. So I've been buying a lot of stuff like just off of like expiring auctions late at night or whenever, and just re-listen them, just
Yeah.
getting what they were worth.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, Dusty, from the thing from bulk, I mean, when you're doing bulk stuff like that, I mean, are you having to put, the star players in it to make it move? I mean, and then are you really going ahead and are you making any money, or are you just clearing out bulk so that you don't have to deal with it? So I'd be curious about that type of stuff. Because that's the thing about bulk. I mean, I could put a bulk box together, but I mean, if I put it on, auction, when I started an auction at 99 cents and I did, I'd have to do plus shipping. And even if I did, let's say, like a medium rate size box, okay, I'll make a couple of bucks off of my shipping discount, but I don't necessarily know how high an auction price is going to go. So I don't know about the bulk part. I definitely lots. I mean, bulk, that's the only thing that worries me about, bulk from that standpoint of what do you really got to put in it, you know? Or, if I was buying collections, it might be a different story, right? But if I'm going to go and look at bargain boxes, lots are going to be the better way to go than to just go ahead and buy a crap ton of, 10-cent cards, 25-cent cards at a show and then throw them in a bulk box.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how it's going to sell. From at least that's my opinion. Could be completely wrong. I have no clue, but that's the only thing that's the worst part.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
So, well, all righty. Hour 40 minutes. Go ahead and start to wrap it up. Great. Thanks for the chat once again.
Yes, thank you all for being here.
Bulk is definitely for the buyer of collections. Bulk is definitely for a buyer of collections. Oh, I see what you're saying. So, yeah. Thanks, Dami. Much appreciated.
Yeah, we appreciate all you guys.
Don't forget, we'll be on Tuesday.
Yep.
Next week. Picksburgh Card Show promoters. 2 of the best card show promoters that you're ever going to meet. Anything else special going on?
Not really. We'll have a few more vlogs come out this week over on the channel. But yeah, I mean, nothing like super crazy. Me and Lady Fella are going to be doing some traveling this upcoming week. We're going to Canada, and then we're also going to California. So we're going to be all over the place.
Canada?
Yeah, we're she's never been to Niagara Falls. So for
You don't
Christmas
have
I got her a trip to Niagara Falls. We're gonna go do like the Clifton Hill area. It's like they basically have a bunch of like touristy type things to do up there. So we're gonna do that for a few days, and then she's turning 40 in the big 40, so we're gonna go to her neck of the woods out in Cali, celebrate.
she probably didn't really need you to say that.
Oh yeah, my bad.
I approve. It's fine.
It's a big one for her, so she's
I'm
excited.
actually celebrating it, so
Yeah.
So Lisa and I went to Niagara Falls. I surprised her with a trip for would have been what, our 10th wedding anniversary,
Nice.
and we drove over. When we were living in upstate New York, so we drove over and actually stayed. We actually stayed in Canada. We stayed, at a cool hotel over there, and went down to the falls. You can walk behind them and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it should be fun. She's never been, and she's like literally been everywhere, so it'll be interesting to show her someplace new.
Yeah.
And Dusty says happy pre-40th.
thank you.
So that's awesome.
Yeah. So
That
we're
is
gonna have a
awesome.
good time.
Awesome.
I ended up getting another little Christmas present I got for her was tickets to Sweethearts Night at Disneyland. They have like these premium after dark events. So we basically got tickets to that. So we're gonna go to Disneyland and be big nerds there. So it'll be fun.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool, very cool. Well, everybody, hey, again, thank you so much for coming and listening to two, knuckleheads talk about men and women on cardboard.
Yep.
One thing we didn't talk about, and I don't know if we can talk about it next week, but we forgot all talking about the Bronny James first game failure. But
Oh yeah.
that'll be for another day.
He
Talk about
definitely is
that
not his
kind of
dad.
stuff. Definitely not his dad. But hey, again, thanks a lot, everybody. Much appreciated. Don't forget, make sure you're liking, you're commenting, and you're subscribing to the channels and stuff like that. And as always, hey, we'll catch you guys the next episode of Collect and Profit.
See you guys.